Hi, welcome everybody. This is the introductory episode of our 2Ds in a Pod, which is our monthly podcast. I'm one of the Ds, John Dodds, and
I'm Peter Dow, the other D. So we plan to be interviewing creatives from all over the Sutton, Surrey and South West London area. And we're trying to understand what motivates and excites them in the various areas that they are focused on.
you never know, in future episodes we might even spread our net wider. If you have any ideas for interviewees or would even like to be interviewed by us, contact us via our website, 2dsinapod.uk. That's 2dsinapod.uk, and we'll see what we can do.
Now please understand we're just starting out. We're going to try and get back to everybody as best we can, but no guarantees we'll get back to you quickly. You'll be able to find us, all our episodes, on Spotify, YouTube and wherever you get your podcast. And the plan is to publish on the last day of every month.
Yeah, hopefully we're looking to go live in the next few days. And Peter, what guests have we got coming up on our podcast?
Well, we've got a really eclectic mixture. We've got dance teachers, football coaches, singers and actors. So a very, very wide range.
Great. We look forward to you joining us. Now, before we go any further, we thought we'd introduce ourselves in a bit more depth to you.
So, John, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from?
Okay, Peter. Well, I was born in London decades ago, North London actually. You know, mum, dad, brother and sister. I grew up on a council estate initially in Islington. Then we moved out to the suburbs, or my dad certainly thought so. It was Tottenham we moved to. And he thought we'd left basically central London. We moved out to the wilderness from Islington, but there you go. My mother's family were originally are Italian, and they came over in the 50s with a mass, as a part of the mass wave of immigration and people leaving southern Italy particularly to find better opportunities. And Peter, what about you?
So I was also born several decades ago, but interestingly in Kent. But my family moved towards London. So whilst being born in Kent, I moved to East London when I was about 5 years of age, and that's where I spent my formative years, going to school and playing a lot of football. My family was obviously mum and dad, and a brother and a sister, of which who I was the eldest. I had a lot of friends, very good social life in East London, growing up in a place called Gants Hill. But then when I got to about 18, it was time to go off to university, and I went to Bangor University. I had dreams of perhaps playing a bit of football maybe, making a life out of being a footballer, but sadly that didn't work out. So I followed the academic route, and off to university I went. What about yourself after you'd done
After school? Yeah, I didn't go to university. I went to the University of Life, I believe the expression is. My mum, one of her many relatives, was the head waiter of a very famous restaurant in Holland Park called the Belvedere, and I really didn't know what I was going to do with my life, and I got a job as a commis de brasseur, which is the most junior rank of a waiter in a very high class establishment. But I really enjoyed it. It was great fun. It opened my eyes to a different world completely to what I'd seen growing up, and I had a lot of fun working there, and it kind of put me on a career path that I'm still on to this day. Did you ever get anywhere with those dreams of being a footballer?
I didn't, no. I tried. At university I played a lot of football, but I think part of going to university was trying to avoid working for as long as I possibly could, which I managed for 3 years, and I think I led the classic student life of not really focusing enough on my academics and focusing more on alcohol and sport. But it was good for me. I met my future wife there, and we had our first child shortly after leaving university. So I came away with a degree, a wife and a baby. So pretty successful all in all.
It was a good 3 years. You didn't waste the 3 years completely then.
Certainly didn't waste it.
No, I mean, it was a few years. I did work for a few years before I also met my partner at work. And as people did in those days, I think they either met them at university or at work, really. I think or the pub. That was where people met each other then. If any listeners that are younger than, 40 or so, might think seems very strange, but that's how it worked. Became a dad, which is fantastic. Fantastic job being a husband, a worker, and a father. Those are jobs that I'm still doing to this day. And not a lot of things were done in particularly those early years of, let's say, marriage and fatherhood. There wasn't a lot else to do other than work, and that was that. And yourself?
Yeah, well, I went into the finance world. I spent 35 years working in banking and finance. And that's probably one of the things that was one of the big influences and what led me towards podcasting. Once I left work, once I kind of retired, I wanted to try and find something that was a bit different from banking and finance. Can be interesting in places, and I had some interesting times there, but there's not really the same freedom and creativity that you get with doing something creative like podcasting. And whilst podcasting wasn't something I was specifically looking to do, when I fortuitously met you in the street that day and you were talking about it, I thought, well, that might be a kind of a creative area that might be interesting for me. And of course, we pursued it, and we've come a fair way in doing that. What about yourself? What led you
Yeah,
to podcasting?
I think the same. I think for many, many years it was work and fatherhood, and which are amazing. You know, there's nothing wrong with working hard and hoping and trying to climb the greasy pole, and there's nothing wrong with being a father. But I think that you obviously give up some of the dreams that you had when you were younger when you're doing those things, because you're trying to do those things to the best of your ability. So as my kids are now older, and I'm not working as hard as I used to, or don't need to work as hard as I used to previously, I wanted to be more creative, and podcasting, my guitar playing skills are not what they were. My voice is terrible, I can't sing. So podcasting seemed a nice route into a different world, really, to learn some new skills and to meet some interesting people like yourself.
Yeah, no, I think that's very true. I think just opening up a new world is something that I'm very conscious of, having sat in finance for many years. People are very varied in finance, but you don't really get the same sort of people who are working in the kind of the podcasting space. And that's that area where you've got creatives, and that obviously leads you to other creative skills as well, with maybe film making and writing and things like that, which I'm also potentially interested in doing. And I've also got a lot out of podcasting, meeting people, talking to them. It's kind of impressive how people are open, prepared to share their thoughts and feelings with you, which can be valuable for me in terms of my growth and my journey, and hopefully for other people who might listen.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the case. People that we've spoken to, we've been very lucky that people have shared experiences with us of how they've got to where they are today from very many different fields. I think also the thing of podcasting, what it's shown me is, I don't want it to make it sound like I'm 111 years old, but a dinosaur has been able, and a couple of dinosaurs, they're no longer extinct, we're able to put stuff out there on, learn new skills, editing, recording, using new technology, and not kind of hiding away from that, actually embracing it and running towards it, which is, I think, it's been something I wasn't expecting to learn these new skills. Believe me, we've still got a lot to learn on those skills, but we're learning them, which is great, and it's exciting and challenging.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think it's those skills and even those technical skills that you only heard about in the past that you're actually being forced to learn is very valuable, I think, in this modern world. And I think learning about people has been valuable as well. I mentioned that people's openness was important, and I think valuable for me. It's also helped me understand a little bit about myself a little more in terms of, this is kind of an interesting area. I'm interested in finding out more about people. How do I extrapolate this experience to make it even more valuable for myself?
Yeah, good. Okay, I think people, hopefully listeners, will find out more about us through the people we interview, because we're part of that process. It's not just monologues. These are hopefully conversations we're going to have with people, and we'll continue to learn about them, about their experiences, and hopefully more new skills for us. Whatever AI is, we're in there. We're there.
We'll find out, I'm sure.
Okay.
Okay, look out for our podcasts coming up. We plan to put them out at the end of every month.
Thanks.
Goodbye.